Hello? Mic check, 1, 2. We need to talk. Have you heard the phrase, while you're growing yourself and heading towards your goals, you're just one action away from making it? Or just keep grinding and hustling because eventually you'll get there. Just keep showing up, brother. I'm genuinely concerned about these statements and the false hopes they build. We're going to dive into that in this video. First, I want to state my intentions with this video. It isn't to crush your dreams or rob the hope you have left of growing your business, family, and life. It's the opposite. I want to give you guidance and direction so you can gain confidence and clarity in your purpose and calling by challenging what we are doing. Now, with that said, wait until the end. Hear me out before you go to war in the comments section. Welcome back to the Better Than Best Academy. Coach Red here. Let's pretend we're having lunch together. We just stepped into your favorite barbecue restaurant that serves the best barbecue. While I opted for the hearty 2-meat plate, you got a rack of ribs. Honestly, maybe I ordered too much. My eyes were more hungry than my stomach. I can't wait to dig in. The waiter brings our food, and as we sit down to enjoy this meal together, your rack of ribs is looking delicious, and my brisket and smoked chicken is looking like a mountain of smoky, meaty goodness. So while we're enjoying our lunch and chatting, let me challenge some of the thought patterns that you might have had at this point while you're growing in your leadership. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that phrase, you're one action away. What does that even mean? I think on face value, it means you keep working hard and long, and eventually one of your actions is going to get you to the place and the platform and the influence that you want to be. And then you will have finally made it. And on face value, it is a really positive thing because it fosters hope and motivation to continual action. Like, I'm just going to keep growing and serving because eventually I'm hoping that all this will actually work out. However, on the opposite side, it can cause harm if not understood well. What is a way? What does a way mean in this context? A way from what? A way from feeling good about ourselves, a way from finally making it. So you're enjoying your first bite of ribs here at this point, and I think it's time for us to start diving into those sides, that loaded mashed potatoes, where we talk about why this is such an issue. First of all, making it implies that you've reached some sort of destination out there in the future, and if you think about it, many times that destination is a logical fallacy. I believe the finish line of this life is death. I've got quite a bit of life and impact left on this earth before I die and go to heaven. We get so caught up. For example, making it can mean you finally get to grow your business to multi-millions, billions. You might have multiple businesses that are all thriving, and the rest of your life just falls into place. Everything is easy. It's like you just hit the easy button. Another definition could be you put out that one piece of content, product, service, book that just goes viral. It flies off the shelves, and all of a sudden your life is extremely different. Something just happens, poof, magic. Overnight, you're a great success. From then on, everything is milk and honey. You feel good about yourself inside. You suddenly have the aptitude, the energy, the silver bullet to be able to accomplish what you want. I think you're picking up what I'm putting down here. There isn't a destination we're set to accomplish. Saying you're one action away or keep hustling and grinding because you'll make it eventually all leads to endless grinding, more striving, more this sense of, will I ever get there? And you're never there. You're only got a carrot in front of you running on a treadmill. Or you're a rocking chair, putting in all this effort, getting nowhere. And what we're doing here today is challenging this idea, and that there is no end point with building your business, your dream life, your leadership, sharing what you're passionate about with those that you're called and created to lead and serve. So you and I can create our definition of making it and the goals to accomplish. I think we should, because that gives us a direction to aim toward. With no vision, the people perish. What does perish mean? Die. And I don't know about you, but I'm not quite ready to die yet. I've got a lot of fight left in this dog. And I really believe that this is going to give us direction. I'm not challenging that. In fact, I want to go deeper with this and define what making it looks like. That this the idea that you're one action away or you're actually progressing with what you are doing. Let's talk about why this advice of just keep going, just keep showing up is right and good. For one, action is the primary way you can grow, because without action, you're doing nothing. You're lazy, you're a sluggard, a fool. Everything about your life is about action. If you keep going, you're doing the base level effort, action. But that advice works because eventually you're going to get so frustrated and upset enough that you're finally going to do whatever it takes to make it work, to finally figure out what connects and builds the life, business, and the family that you want. The problem here is for most people, that can take far too long, and your endurance has to outlast that time that it takes. So in order to break that loop of action and not getting results, one thing has to change. It's you. So come close. So there's a few ways I see this going. We could take a lot of action without the right direction. And what would happen is you would put all this effort in. You would be that rocking chair, putting in all this consistency and effort, but getting nowhere because you have no clear direction or vision. Then there's the other side, of which we have a bunch of direction, a bunch of vision without any action. And we could call this perfectionism. We could call this analysis paralysis. That's the thing when we want to start out exactly right, perfect, or make sure all the things are in place before we start publishing or producing or taking any action. And I think that there's a third option I want to guide you to here. And that is that beautiful marriage of when action, radical action, meets meaningful direction, purpose, and clarity. The right type of action combined with the right type of direction leads to success. For every successful leader, organization, business owner, church, family, you can see that on and offline that is the case. However, while we're sitting around this lunch table, what if you and I are starting to feel like, hey, Red, I'm doing all the things. I'm watching these videos that you put out, and I'm taking all the actions, and I'm doing my very best to get this right. Here's what I would say to you. Probably you have some blind spots, or remember, we can't see our lives 360. Like I could have a sticker, a kick me sign on my back, and I would never know unless I got around the right people, the community, the mentors that are going to show and call out the truth and love for me. You probably have those things too that you're not seeing because you're in the inside. You don't have that eagle eye perspective that I've mentioned before. You don't have that outside perspective. Or maybe you do see some weaknesses and haven't changed enough for them to actually take effect. So for many leaders, business owners, men of God, creators, the answer is getting deeper help or to get outside help, which is why I do things like coaching, consulting, and cohorts and groups. I see how valuable it is both myself as a participant in others' groups and coaching, and as I facilitate these things to be able to provide this for others. But what if you don't have the resources or the ability to actually get this help in this community? What do you do then? Well, first I'm going to say, go ahead and smash that like button on this video if it's been helpful and insightful for you so far. I am grateful for you for doing that. And if we were actually eating some barbecue right now and hanging out, then I would give you a high five in person. But really, let's talk here. What if you don't have access to the outside help that you are looking for that will help you thrive, succeed, and really see your blind spots? What do you do then? Here is what I would be doing. I would first be doing things radically different. I would pick up one thing about my leadership, my growth, my business that I could go all in, get hyper fixated, get obsessed, and go extremely focused on. Now, why is this so effective? I'm going to dig into my past a little bit here, and I want to tell a story. When I first started serving at my church and getting ready for us to plant the campus that we're now celebrating 10 years with, we would be preparing for our first Sunday in rehearsal, and back then I ran sound, but I had this aspiration to play drums. I remember one time in rehearsal, I was sitting there only partially listening, focused on running sound. The worship leader was coaching the drummer in that moment, and from my memory, the leader stopped everyone, stopped the band, stopped the whole rehearsal, and said, everyone listen up. Gather around, pay attention. Everyone pay attention to what just happened. She said to the drummer, great job. You did exactly what I asked you. But then she said the thing that really stuck with me all these years later. Passion isn't transferable, knowledge is. And then she went on to say, I would rather have you go all in, go all out, and ask you to dial it in than for me to have to keep pushing and pulling for more and more and more to come out. Many people, when on stage, keep themselves small and reserved because they haven't built the confidence or skill set yet, but that doesn't translate what they're experiencing inside to the person on the last row, the person on the live stream watching. Drawing the parallels between that and what you and I are doing here, I have thought about that phrase over the years and time again. This is why I think it's so significant. If you and I are used to playing a small game or used to playing in our comfort zone, then suddenly we push ourselves way outside our comfort zone. Then all of a sudden we are aware of the range we didn't realize we were capable of, right? So then there we can dial it down a little bit and find that happy medium, that perfect space of cringy and crazy. We can find that place in the middle where we really thrive. And then at that point, because we have gone so far out of the comfort zone, we're able to dial it in to where it really does feel most natural for us, where we can really fly. It's one of the main reasons I chose the branding better than best, because I really feel like we must step out of the comfort. We must shake off complacency and realize we never make it at best. There's always somewhere better. If we're not growing, we're dying. What's the Ben Franklin quote? It says that a lot of people die at 25, but they're buried at 75, meaning that they spend so much of their life just sucking air and dying, not living to their full God-given potential, and it makes me sick. You don't have to live that way, friend. Let's do a thought experiment here for a moment. How do you think you would be if you made it? If you built the business to multi-figures, you got the influence, the platform, all the things that you were looking for, how do you think you would act or think or be? Would your life be better or worse, or would you be the same? Chances are you don't even have to know exactly what you would be like then, there in the future, but you know intuitively, instinctively that you would be different. The truth is, friend, to get where you want to go, you must change you. That brings me back here, sitting in the barbecue joint. It's slowing down from the lunch rush. The waiter brought over our check. Here's what I would say. What you and I are doing is not easy, because what we're doing is we're changing ourselves. But more importantly, we are changing, we are transforming, we are impacting lives on not only on this side of the earth, but on all of eternity. We are building legacies here with what we are doing. And if you realize the weight of that and the beauty of that, you understand that this is not an easy task and it shouldn't be taken lightly. I'd also recommend for you to watch the next video, because I'm going to talk about identifying those blind spots and give you the exact direction you need to take radical action towards your goals to actually get results. But I'll talk about that in a moment. Remember, we're still around this lunch table, so we're not watching videos or listening to podcasts. We are face to face. And I want to say, are you one action away? Probably not. But that's all right. That's good. Because you are one action closer. You are progressing, getting 1% better today, because you decided to show up. But not only did you decide to show up and keep going, you decided to get focused and get the vision and direction and purpose for your life. Every action, every conversation, watch us grow. It's what we do. Now, as always, I love you, friend. I'm praying for you. Let's live better than best as we conquer this week. And remember, I'll see you in that video.